Hope everybody's okay. Yeah, first live stream on my channel for a long time, actually. I think it was maybe last year I did one. Not good. So, basically this week we've new builds come out from Fanhome, which is the Michael Bay Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
And I've got Kevin over at The Nexus, who's building this as well. And we're just going to sort of do a review because we've both built our issues 1 and 2 now. And yeah, we'll have a look at it and see what we think. I mean, I'm blown away so far by it.
Yeah, it's the detail on it's really nice. There's a lot of weight to the head, so it looks promising. It does look very promising.
It does.
Yeah.
It doesn't look as, I don't know, plasticky as I thought it would do.
Yeah, I think that's because of the grey. I think that's what, like, it comes off as like plasticky with the grey parts. I wonder if they could metallic it up a little bit. I don't know, but it still looks really good. It's supposed to be that sort of grey anyway, but I'm very pleased with it anyway. So
yeah, so am I. Right, and I'll just go through comments. So the first one I've got, I know Steve did make a comment last night when I set up the stream, but it hasn't come through. So I've got D Harris says, "Evening, Mark and Kev." Evening, D.
Hi, D. Hi, D.
And D goes, "How goes it, Sir Steve?" At 131. We've got Facebook user says hi. So hi. I'm not sure who that one is. She just says Facebook user. We've got Buck at Buckman's Model Mania saying, "Hey, Mark." Hi, Buck.
Hiya.
We've got D saying, "Evening, Buck." And then we just got Buck saying, "Hey, D." So yeah, that's it for now.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm like you. You wait for 1 to come out and 2 come along at once.
Yeah. They're like buses, aren't they? They sort of there's nothing there, and then it all sort of starts pouring out.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot more coming out this year still from various companies. So this ain't the last new one. I don't think any of us are going to do. So yeah, it's nice.
It is. I found. For me, I would say I'm an 80s kid, so I remember the Transformers cartoons when I was growing up, and there was the whole thing. They created the cartoons so that you'd buy the toys, really.
Yeah. If you go on Netflix, there's a brilliant show on there. It's called The Toys That Made Us, and it explains the Transformers story on there. But effectively, it was a Japanese television show. Hasbro wanted it but didn't think the Western audience would get it, so what happened was they sort of created the toys because they wanted the toys. Japanese had the show, and sort of they wanted the toys, so they made the show, and so effectively Transformers was a toy that became a TV show. Yeah, that's the long and short of it.
Yeah, I remember watching it. I loved it as a kid. I mean, I had the original Optimus Prime. I got it for my 5th birthday. God knows how much that would be worth now in good condition.
Oh yeah, ridiculous money.
I know, and I got it for my birthday. And like these things, like Star Wars figures and stuff, you just take them to a charity shop or give them away, and it's like,
yeah,
so frustrating, but. For me, I chose the movie one because my kids don't remember the TV series. Julie doesn't remember it. She didn't watch it. So for me, I went for this one because this one, it looked more to it than the Agora one. I'm not knocking the Agora one. The Agora one looked brilliant. I mean, one of the things I would have loved on this one, but we haven't got, is the mouth moving. But you can get that with the Agora one. But because I've got to display it in this house, it's not a case of it's something that I just like. It's something everybody likes, as you will know, being a collector yourself. So that's why I can get away with 2 Titanics, because they don't mind Titanic if it's in the living room.
Yeah.
But, so that's why I went for the Fanhome one, and plus the fact it's a bit smaller than the Agora one as well. And as you know, because you're doing the Alien and you've done the Terminator.
Yeah.
Where do we put these things?
yeah. It's not. The Agora one is bigger, but not by much. I think that's mainly because of the base. The Agora one has a absolutely huge base that comes with it.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's, if they're both off the base, I don't think there's a lot in it.
Yeah.
The head seems the same size, so I would imagine they're equal value sort of thing. But yeah, like, I'm a massive Transformer fan, like yourself. I watched the cartoons when I was a kid. I had the figures. Then watched the cartoons as a teenager. Then obviously got into the films. You know, I've got my tattoo as well. Oh, yeah, there it is. So you know, I was your typical sort of geeky teenager. So you know, Marvel, Star Trek. You know, I was always into this sort of stuff. But I think the Bayformer is a lot better. It works as a model better, I think, than the traditional ones. I mean, if you want a sort of a G1 Transformer, which is what they've gone for at Agora, I think that's better as a toy. You know, you can play with it and that. Where this one's more of a statue piece. You want it. You don't want it. If they made it so it transformed, there was no way you would keep it in a truck. No way. You'd keep it as a robot because it looks better. So that's another reason why I went for it.
I mean, if that's the case, there is the Agora one, but there's also the one that it's about £1,000 for the one that actually does transform. You just tell it to.
Yeah. The company brought out one that's you can get loads of things for it now as well, a trailer and yeah.
It's like, yeah, I love that, but I don't have £1,000 to spare. Really,
I'm surprised the Partwork company hasn't done that, because they've done Robbie the Robot, which is a similar concept to that.
Yes.
So, you know, and I mean, with electrics nowadays, I mean, I would imagine they could probably do something very similar. So
I think the problem is the electrics are always an afterthought sometimes in these models, and the electrics can be a little bit poor.
That is because I think there's a budget concern on that.
Yeah,
I know that was mentioned for the DeLorean, because loads of people said about the Christmas tree and the flux capacitor, and the guy that done it for Eagle Moss, obviously Ben Robinson, turned around and said he was disappointed how they turned out, and he said he would have been able to do them better, but it was a budget thing. So I find that a lot of the electrics in the Partworks and that are, like you say, they're a bit of an afterthought, and they're not. You know what I mean? There's a lot better electrics out there, but they do it on a budget concern. So yeah, it is what it is. If you know what I mean.
I always find it's a case of, well, how much do you play with these things and switch them on after you've built them?
Yes,
especially if they're running on batteries. I mean, if you get the power mod, say from Ian at Patwork Upgrades, he's in chat. You might switch it on every time you do your recording, or you want it on permanently. But if you're running something on batteries, they don't last long. Yeah. At all. They don't last long at all.
Battery packs, I would say, definitely go for. But like I said, it's not. I go for these builds not because of the electrics and things like that. You know, take the DeLorean. I think I've only ever turned it on 3 or 4 times since it's been built. And the same with the Millennium Falcon as well. Since I've built that, I think I've turned the lights on a few times. And some of the lights only work if like the feet are on. So if you've got it in like a flight mode, you don't get the landing lights on. They only come on if the feet are plugged in.
Yeah.
So there's certain features like you won't be able to get anyway. And like you're saying, once again, it goes back to that. Oh, it's a bit of an afterthought, the electrics, because no one's going past these. I mean, I've owned Hot Toys in the past, Iron Man Hot Toys, and it's a very similar process to the Iron Man that came out through Fanhome.
Yeah.
In with the Hot Toys ones, they do all light up, but they have individual buttons. So you have one on each of the hands, one on the chest, one on the head, and they're normally like behind certain things. So you have to take the helmet off to turn it on, the chest off to turn it on. And imagine doing that every day just to put the lights on.
Well, I always say, if I was DeLorean on Ecto 1 when it's finished, everything else in it took me about 10 minutes just to go around and switch absolutely everything on.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy. But, I mean, I know we're doing about the Optimus Prime, and obviously we've got our first bit of electrics with the head.
Yeah.
And I was quite impressed how the eyes were spot on.
Yeah, they're perfect. They light up really well. There's obviously something else there as well. Now, I'm not too sure what it is.
Yeah.
I've spoken to sort of other people and in the groups and that, So the speculation is the neck connector is a speaker.
Right. Yeah.
And that ball joint is the speaker, because if you look at it, there's a wire coming off the speaker, coming off the ball joint, and it's hidden. And if you look at the ball joint, the inside circuit, it obviously slots into something like a power pack or something, but it must do something because it doesn't power the lights in the head because they're already powered.
Yeah.
So it must be for something that does. It wouldn't be a noise because Optimus Prime obviously does do a noise and the voice thing, but I've got a funny feeling that is the speaker. That is a micro speaker inside there, probably a sugar cube or something.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I can think of that we've all come across that we've gone, what could it be electric wise?
To tell you the truth, I'm looking at that and thinking, well, it can't power much because it's still running on the 3 batteries we've got in the head of the Optimus Prime. So it can't go down to powering much, really.
No.
Because how much of them 3 batteries gonna do down, I mean, I'm hoping it maybe has the Allspark in the chest. That would be, to have that lit up would be really good.
Yeah, I don't know. He in the film he has a different Allspark. In the movie he has a different Allspark. So it's called the Allspark, which is like a little dagger thing. It's about this big. I would imagine on the chest. It'd be interesting if they do that or not. I'm not too sure. I know we're getting two guns, and I know we're getting 2 swords as well. It'd be interesting if the swords plug in and light up. There's a light behind it that lights up. I've got a funny feeling that's what's going to happen. So just on his wrist, they'll probably be plugged in, and then it will have some sort of light effect that comes out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm praying as an extra for this, and I'm, like with the DeLorean, you got the plutonium box. Oh, please give us a cube, please. With it being the first Transformers movie, Optimus Prime, give us a cube with the letterings, because we've got the letterings on the head so far. Give us a cube. That would be brilliant to go with it.
That's also that could be a certain thing that someone could 3D design, and
I've actually been looking to see if there's any actual 3D STL.
Yeah.
Already. And then what I do if I find it, or if I do it myself, I just I email it to Ian, and Ian does his magic with it. And
there's definitely potential there, because if they don't supply it, then people would want that. So
definitely. I mean, I'd love a cube to go with it. That would be. It's all based around the cube. The story is based around the cube. In the movie.
Yeah, and, just like I said on my first video, this Optimus Prime's based on the very first movie one.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of confusion. So Optimus Prime, he goes through subtle changes every film. Yeah. So the first 2 films, he keeps the same robot mode and vehicle, but there's slight changes to his Aut mode, so his robot mode. There's subtle changes, but there are changes. They've done the same thing with the Terminator as well. So the Terminator we've built is the T1 Terminator, because when they redone the Terminator, the T800 for Terminator 2, it was slightly different. There were slightly different parts on it.
Yeah.
So this one is definitely the one from the first film. If you look at the second film, is a little bit more beaten up, and the chest is a little bit different. And then on the third film, the Dark of the Moon, his chest actually looks like it's ribs.
Yeah.
All the kibble and that is sort of on his chest, and it looks more rib-like, if you know what I mean. But there are subtle changes. But this is definitely the first movie's Optimus Prime.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'll just bring this up, and then I'll just go through what chat's gone through. So we do have a Facebook group. Well, Kev set it up. I'm just a moderator on it. But I can share the screen to show you the Facebook group. Some people are modding theirs already.
Oh, yeah. I see the battle damaged one already.
So here's the Facebook group that Kev runs. So it is... hang on a minute. I know what I can do. I can put it in chat if anybody wants to go along and join it.
Yeah.
So I'm just a moderator. Kev set this up. He runs a group, but there is a Facebook group for the build. For both builds, actually, because you've got both the Fanhome and the Agora one on there. So, and 541 members. That's pretty good, Kev.
Yeah.
That is really good. But yeah, some of the battle damage there's already, didn't they? Here it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there we go. What?
They've chipped the paint off and they put a bit of nun oil painting on it. It looks really good. Really good.
It looks
They've weathered
amazing. Yeah. I just like, okay, yeah, I do like to do some mods to my, but I couldn't do that to the to the build at all at the moment.
I'd be scared to. I would.
That is amazing though, isn't it? But that is the Facebook group. Like I said, I put it in the chat if anybody wants to come along and join the group. But yeah, we're trying to keep it as much. And there is a general chat, and everybody's talking about it in there.
Yeah, so, yeah. And I made it with both Optimus Primes. One just to simplify the build, like the groups, instead of having 20,000 different groups, for each build. Yeah. It's easier to get from one. So if you're going on to that, it's Optimus Prime, but it's basically both builds, so you can discuss both builds. And yeah, I just thought it'd be easier doing it that way, because I know I've done the same with my Iron Man group. So I've combined it with the Gauntlet, the Infinity Gauntlet as well, just because a lot of people had finished the Iron Man and then started posting about the Gauntlet, and I thought, instead of you chasing down another group, they're both Marvel. They're both from the same company. I'll merge them. Yeah. So that's what I did. So it was just the simplicity of it, because I think most people that done the Iron Man went on to do the Gauntlet, and I think this one's that case as well. I mean, if you're doing one or the other, it's good because you're both there. But I think some people on the group are actually doing both. So once again, they can keep an eye on both progresses of it and stuff. So it was just the simplicity of it.
Yeah. Right. I'll just catch up with this chat. And then, we'll carry on. So, we've got Anfield Road in the layout in the loft. Says, hi, Mark and Kev. Hi, Lee.
Hi, Lee.
We've got Will at Will's Workshop saying, hi, how is everyone? Hi, Will. Well, good, thanks.
Hi, Will. How are you going?
Right. Whatever that name is, I can't say that. Model Boots, I think it is. Warm greetings from Germany. So, hello from Germany.
Hello.
Sorry if I got your name completely wrong. Yeah. D. Harris says evening
D
to
as
Lee.
well.
Lee says hi to D. D says at Will's Workshop, good evening. D says, I can't. I'm not even going to attempt it. It says good evening. Ian Campbell says good evening.
Hi, Ian.
Hi, Ian.
Hiya.
I got Powerwork pizza on Monday by Ian.
Oh, I saw. Yeah, I saw.
So yeah, I got Powerwork pizza. That was so much good fun. Really was. Ian says the Fanhome version is much better in his opinion. So
yeah, I would second that as well. It does come across.
Yeah. I think I'm on the bench of. I think some people prefer the Agora one, some people prefer the Fanhome one, and those who can't make up their mind between the Fanhome and the Agora one are doing both.
Yeah.
That's my theory on it anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm saying there's nothing wrong with the Agora one. I chose this one because my kids love the movies. Julie loved the movies. The music to the movies gives her goose pimples even now, and I want to display this in the house and that we can all enjoy. I mean, I did go premium bass on mine as well, so
yeah. I looked at the dimensions of that, and I thought it's going to be big as it is. That makes it bigger, and it's just a space thing. And once again, it comes down to that lighting issue we were talking about. Yeah. How often am I going to light it and stuff like that? I mean, I light my Terminator up quite a lot because of the power mod.
Yeah.
But the problem I've even tried to follow Horlicks's idea of the battery for the remote, but it doesn't seem to work. So I've had to go back to the way it went before. Because the remote just drains the battery silly.
Yeah, I've got it on mine. I actually sent my remote to Horlicks to do because I'm not.
Oh, right.
I wasn't really good at soldering at the time. I've been practicing a bit more, but I sent mine and asked Horlicks, look, could you put that thing on it for the remote? Because the battery, we found the battery. And actually, I figured out it's doing exactly the same on the Spitfire remote as well. The battery is draining when the power's not on.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of these things to look. I can see now all the builds are going now towards remote controls instead of the buttons on them, and I think it's a thing of these batteries could drain, in the remote controls for them.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice if there was maybe a bit of a different solution for that people could just put in, and then it wouldn't happen. So like a cut off something, but I don't know if that's possible. I'm not that.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done an app for this. So you have like a Fanhome app. You click on it. It has all the builds on it. You select the build that you're doing. And not only does it have all the inbuilt instructions and all that sort of stuff, but it also has the function to operate it as a remote, but on your phone.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't done that. Like, you can use the remote if you want, but you've got the added option of using your phone for Bluetooth purposes. I mean, it's not futuristic technology. It's very, very old now. So I'm surprised they haven't incorporated it, and it's come down in price.
Well, I mean, look what Horlicks has done for the Rootmaster.
Yeah, exactly.
That evolved from me not daring him, but challenging him to put a remote control on the Rootmaster, to buttons, to Bluetooth, and it now can be done. And I don't think a lot of people at the time would have thought that build would have been able to do it.
Yeah, I've seen some people from Germany and France do it for their Dodge Charger, and I think they've done it for the kit as well, where they've got an app. They've designed an app, and it does all the functions on the app as well. And I know Model Mods, they did for the DeLorean. I think Chloe did a mod for that where it could connect to your Alexa.
Yeah, there is.
And you could operate it from the Alexa.
Yeah. I've got the remote control for the DeLorean, but I haven't got the Alexa mod for the DeLorean. It's only because it's bad enough that the Alexa app going off enough as it is, never mind turning something else on. So we've got D says, evening, Ian, how's you? Lee says, hi, Ian. Ian says, hey, D, all good, you? Ian says, hi, Lee. D says, oh, good, Ian, back at the glass when I can. Ian says, cool D. I'm going to try it. Model Boo Schwaben? I don't know. After the disaster I had the other day, because I said this today in today's update video, I got my issues from D'Agostini for the camper van, and issue 59 was in German.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do German. So Agora is the comic version, Fanhome is the film version. I build both. So there you go.
That's what I said.
Decided, yeah. Somebody who's not decided. Right, tell you what, I'll build both. I'm not saying I will never do the Agora one, because I might do, but I've just got to wait for things to finish. And I think, the builds that I'm doing aren't now going to finish until next year. So they're probably, apart from the Lancaster, which I really want to do, but that's obviously I've got a family tie to that. There'll be no new builds for me this year. Yeah,
there's obviously now I'm doing the kit and that, and obviously Optimus Prime and stuff like that. We'll see what comes out and what companies send me and stuff like that. But I think it comes down to price as well. I think this one is better priced than the Agora one. If it was around the same price or cheaper, I might have considered it. But I think the price put me off slightly.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like £100 a month for the box, which is a little bit high.
Yeah.
So.
Ian says, hence I prefer Fanhome. I'd rather have one that looks the cost rather than something plastic. So, yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Lee says, here, but cleaning the airbrush. Not my favourite task. And we've got Lord Peter Webster says, hi, Mark and Kev.
Hi, Peter. Hi, Pete.
Ian says, hello to Peter. Got some thumbs up from our friend in Germany. I've got D says, evening, Lord Webster. Peter says, hi, D, Book, Lee, Will, Ian, and Model. And then Ian says, drop me details. Oh, okay. I think that was about the Allspark, the Cube.
Oh, yeah.
Book says, hey, Lord Peter. That's me putting in the Facebook group. Ian Campbell says, we're talking all spark.
Yeah.
Ian says, Kev, can we post listings to products on the Facebook page?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's mine. It's mine. Yeah, it's mine. It's my group. It's not monitored or run by anybody else. It's mine. So you post away.
There we go. That's what I mean. I've got my builder group, and I say, what did you get kicked out of a group for? Well, just think of everything that you got kicked out of a group for. Just come and join my group and post away, because I really don't mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and we've got D says the cube, I think, Ian. We've got Eric. Arctic Wolf says, howdy, everyone. Hi, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Steve131 says, sorry, late, just had to pick up wife from tennis. So,
hi Steve.
And then we've got Arctic Wolf with his hat on. Lord Peterworth says, hi, Eric. Lord Peterworth says, hi, Steve Bud. Steve says, at D Harris, your lordship. D Harris says, Mark, that's where Steve comes in to translate. Right, okay. D says, speak of the man, good evening, Sir Steve. And then we've got Lee saying, hi, Steve. Steve says, hello, at Peter Webster. One sees you've also been elevated to the peerage. I don't know what that is. Peerage?
Lord.
Ah, right, yeah. Ian Carroll says, I'm toying with not finishing the Enterprise and going for Optimus via Fanhome.
Well, it's an idea.
I think, to tell you the truth, I think the finisher build off is going to be on the Fanhome website for quite some time, because I'm holding off on. I really want. You know what? I've got the bits to finish the Ecto one. It's just my OCD saying you need to finish that build. You need to get all the parts for it, and then maybe do something awesome like the Ecto 1 Ghostbusters 2 car. But but I think that joining thing will be there for a while to finish off a build. I hope, anyway.
I was told that it was. Well, originally they said it was only going to be on there until they start shipping, but then the person that I spoke to said there wasn't any clarity on that, and said that that didn't happen with the DeLorean.
No.
And that's still on there, so there's a possibility it could stay on there for forever or for quite a long time.
I've had 3 packs for the DeLorean.
Yeah.
And it's still on the website to sign up from where you left off. So
yeah, they put out a press release, I think, saying that it would disappear. The ability to do the buyback would disappear once it starts shipping. But that didn't happen with the DeLorean, so they expect it probably won't happen this time, but they wanted to cover all bases.
I think a lot at the end of the day is, obviously it's about a year since Eagle Moss ceased trading. I think a lot of people, when that happened, moved on to other builds. So at the time, Knight Rider was out, so a lot of people went, all right, okay, I'm not doing the Ecto 1, so what do I put? What I put towards the Ecto 1 to? And other people start doing other builds that obviously the Eagle Moss builds have stopped. But the problem is, with it only being a year, they're still doing them builds, but can't afford to go back to the Eagle Moss ones. Yeah, and I think the longer they keep it on there, the better, because I think people will return to them. Eventually and finish them off. So,
definitely.
Peter Webster says, I've had the title since 2018, Steve. Just fancied a channel update with a new logo coming soon. Oh, excellent.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And we've got John Build Scale Modeler says, good evening. Evening, John.
Hi, John.
John's doing my Bismarck for me. I can't wait to see it once it's done.
Yeah, nice.
Steve131 says, cool, at Lord Peter Webster. Dave Mac Bill says, good evening, all. Evening, Dave Mac.
Hi, Dave.
Lord Peter Webster says, hi, John. Gosh, got tons of chat. D. Harris says, Mr. Mansell, good evening. Ian Campbell says, hi, John and Dave Mac. Peter says, hi, Dave Mac. Steve131 says, at Dave Mac Builds, a young man. D says, evening, Dave Mac. Ian says, Horlicks has also made the Rossi bike Bluetooth controlled. Yes, I've seen that. That's going to be interesting because I'm building the Rossi bike. Yeah. Deb Matt says, evening, Peter, Stephen D. John Bill Scott Model says, hope you're all good. Yeah, good here, John. Hope you are too. Dave Matt Bill says, evening, John. I'm nearly caught up. Anfield Road Layout in the Loft says, hi, Dave Mack. And then Lee says, hi, John. Peter says, not heard anything from the Lancaster build since first spoke about. And Dave Matt Bill says, hi, Lee. Oh, hang on a minute. Am I caught up? No, I'm not. It's just jumped. Hang on a minute. It's just, I thought it was to the bottom of it, and then it jumped, and I've got about another 20-odd comments. Dave Mac Bill says, evening, Mark and Kev. Evening, Dave Mac. John Bill says, $199 a month from Agora for 12-month Optimus Prime. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit pricey, that.
It is.
I know it's only 12 months, but yeah, it's, yeah.
Yeah. D says, evening, young Eric. How goes it, sweetheart? Oh, no, not again. They're at don't they? Behave. Book says, hey, Eric. Dave McBill says, hi, Eric and Book. Anfield says, hi, Eric. Peter says, just waiting for collection date for your parcel now, Kev. I'll get address once I get the date.
Okay, lovely. Thank you.
The good parcels off Peter Webster. Lee says, hi, Book. Eric says, hey, Book. Eric says, hey, Dave. Eric says, hey, Lee. Oh, goodness. Lee says, airbrush all clean. Peter says, good job, Lee. Ian Cameron says, Mark, we are at the same stage with the DeLorean. Difference is you have built and mine is still in bags. Oh. Yeah, good point there. Ian, you need to get on with these models in your spare time.
Yeah. What do you know? What it's my little pet peeve. That is you get a lot of people going, oh, what should I start building it? And they're like SU20. I'm like, yes, build it, because there could be anything broken with it. And now they've brought in these new rules where before, if any part had broken at any stage, they would replace it, no question. I think they've changed the rule now, so you can only request a replacement after 21 days.
Right.
I know that they've done that with Hachette. I know that is their policy now. So this is what I always say: you build as you go along, because if there's any problems later on, you'll have massive trouble trying to get hold of the problem later. Yeah. We had that issue. If you remember building the DeLorean originally, you'll notice that a lot of people had that problem where I think they got to issue 95 or 96, and then they requested a replacement and it was out of stock and they never got it.
Yeah.
So this is why I say always make sure you build. As soon as the parcel comes, build it.
Build it.
Don't just check the parts, build it.
Ian Campbell says, it is the cost, as you say, Mark. After Eagle Moss folk parked those builds, took others out, and now have to weigh up which to go with. So yeah, I agree. People have gone for others, and obviously now it's finished. I mean, they've only taken on 4 of the Eagle Moss builds as Fanhome, haven't they? So DeLorean, One, Enterprise, and Eleanor. Unfortunately, they didn't take on the wooden Titanic, which is something I was doing as well.
No, I think that one is pardon the pun, dead in the water.
Yeah,
that one. It was a re-release anyway, and I don't think any other companies picked it up. So
no.
Peter
Wilson says, I have the Rossi sound card from Ian. Fantastic.
Nice.
D says, Mark, we need Julie on chat. LOL. She's currently sewing, so yeah, I can hear a sewing machine going off every two minutes. Eric says, LOL, hey D. Dave Mack says, just having a rest from Missouri build. I've been doing the model since 7 this morning after doing the Titanic video. Goodness me.
Wow.
There's a lot of photo etch on that build. A
lot
of photo etch. Lord Peter says, Kev, will be the 304th YouTuber to get a gift.
Oh, right. Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
then D Howard says, fair play, Peter. Ian Campbell says, I know. I need a few more days in the week or sub off to others to build. Well, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lee says, I had good passes off Peter. We got a new cutting mat, had made bid workbench for it, vid out soon. Right. And then finally, we got Buck saying, hey, Lee. So I just want to go back to something. You've got to be funny about when you show magazines, but what I found, which was very surprising, was we're on about, obviously, Agora doing the 1980s Optimus Prime. But when I got the magazines for this, it was like being a kid again, because they were showing you toys in there. The old stuff.
Because like I said, originally it was a toy. That's how it started, as a toy, and then the cartoon followed after, because Hasbro didn't believe that no one would buy the toys because they didn't have a backstory. And then they went, well, we've got to create one. And that's when, Cybertron and the Autobots came into it and stuff like that. Before, it was just a toy that transformed.
Yeah.
The characters came with the TV show, which then, obviously, people bought the toys.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's really great. It shows you how, if you read it, it tells you how they made the first movie and how they came about it. Then you've got a bit about in-depth, so it goes into like in-depth information about each character. And then the back bit is obviously all to do with the toys and how the toys started and how they came out and how they designed them and everything. So it's really cool.
I mean, I was looking at the toys going, hang on a minute. I had that one.
Yeah.
And I'd forgotten. I had actually forgotten that I had them as a kid. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I actually had that one and I had that one. I'm just like, what?
Yeah, I had them all as well. The thing is, they've come out again now, and so they're sort of doing the rounds again. But I've grown up with it, so I've gone from having the toys to having the bigger models now.
Yeah.
Of Optimus Prime. I've done it on my channel as well, and I've actually got some turning up for my birthday. I think Kirsty's bought me some stuff for my birthday, but the Transformers that she's bought are actually model kits. So I'll be building them on the channel when my birthday comes around. So yeah, sort of, I've just, like I said, I've just sort of grown up with it and progressed in sort of, but yeah, the toys have always been there and they're still out now and they're still out in the shops now. You can still buy Transformers. But just to give a bit of the backstory on Transformers and how the actual movie came about, it was a bit like Marvel. So if people don't know, Marvel was bankrupt effectively. And in order to save itself, it sold the rights to the films. Hence why we got the X-Men movies from Fox. And they did really well. And then we got Iron Man. And actually, how well Marvel's done now, in the late 90s, it was on the verge of bankruptcy. And Transformers was the same. So once again, early 90s, late 90s, it was on the verge of bankruptcy. I think they pushed the line as much as they could because they were doing like Beast War characters. So, like sharks and monkeys and all that sort of stuff. And it wasn't going where they wanted it to. So it was on the verge of collapse. And then they approached the film companies and said, can you help save it? And it has. It's revitalized it like no other. Oh, yeah. So yeah, it's really interesting how Marvel and Transformers are like we remember them as a kid, and now they're our kids and our grandkids and all that are like thinking what we used to have when we were kids, and it's gone full circle. So
it's the next generation, isn't it? It's watching these and hopefully
considering it was something that was going to disappear. Like Marvel as well, both of them were in a real threat of disappearing completely. And now, to even think about it, could you believe 12 years ago that Marvel was on the verge of bankruptcy and so was Transformers, two massive franchises.
Yeah.
Now everything's a franchise.
Oh, tell them about it.
So
got a little bit more chat, which I'll catch up on. So Book says, I have had issues getting replacement parts yet. If I do, that will be the last kit I buy from that particular company.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
We've got Jason at Mr.
Oh,
Fusion.
hi, Jason.
Hi, Mark and Kev.
Mr.
Hi,
Fusion.
Jason. Hope you well. Ian Campbell says, hey, Jason. Jason says, hey, hi to Ian. D says, I'm Mr. Fusion Designs. Evening, Jason. Mr. Fusion Design says, good evening. D Howard says, nicely detailed mag, lots of detail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lord Peter Wilson says, hi, Jason. Mr. Fusion Design says, hi, Peter. And finally, D says, can still remember the Transformers cartoon series as a kid. So
I think most people do.
I like yours, Kev. I actually watched yours before I started building mine. Your issue 1 and 2, and you put the old in it. I was like, oh my goodness, that took me back as your intro. And yeah.
Between the cuts, I put that in because I thought that'd be quite a cool nod to everything. So
that was amazing. I watched that. Yeah, that just takes. Think about it is you forget about these things, and it just brings back memories of being young and remember seeing that, how corny it was, but you thought that was the best thing ever when you were a kid at the time.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, there was a lot of cartoons at that sort of time period that I remember. G.I. Joe, Thundercats, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well. Those were the sort of cartoons that were out when that was on as well. So I just remember watching them all.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But the toys back then were big, weren't they? Really, it's not, Yeah.
I mean, I wanted the toys when I was a kid, and I didn't get all of the ones that I wanted, but I got, the majority of the ones, and I remember collecting all them. And I've always, it's really strange when you think about it, how I actually collected Transformers. Even back then when I was like 6 or 7, I was collecting stuff. I had to have all the figures, and it was the same with the Star Trek figures as well, because I used to have them. 1994 ran round, and I was big into dinosaurs, so Jurassic Park was my thing. So I remember having all the Jurassic Park figures for Christmas, and
yeah. God, I remember the Jurassic Park video game coming out, and I remember parents having to rush to get it from the shops because it had days before they were going to start putting age limits on video games.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I remember it. I didn't get it, but I know somebody who got it, and the mum like, I've got like 24 hours to go out and buy this video game before they start putting age ratings on it where I won't be able to buy it for my son.
Yeah.
And I remember all that happening. It was, and now obviously you get the video game age ratings on them, but I remember the Jurassic Park was one of the first ever to get that age rating put on it.
Get the age rating. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like I say, I remember one Christmas I had the two big main presents I got one Christmas. It was 94. Yeah, I think it was Christmas 94. I got the big T-Rex and the Enterprise D bridge.
Right.
And I think I was set for a couple of years. I didn't play or want anything else after that. I was just so immersed when I was that age.
Oh,
so yeah, but yeah, Transformers were like before. But I remember Transformers. Like I said, it was Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Mask. Where Mask was a little bit between Transformers and G.I. Joe, I thought, because the characters in Mask were like G.I. Joes, and the vehicles were like Transformers in that they partially transformed into like a flying machine or some sort of battle fortress thing. But looking back, when you look back at things like that, you think, the kids nowadays, they don't know unless it's on an app or they just don't play like we used to. I remember sitting out in the garden playing for hours in the summer with action figures on the floor, and you just don't get that anymore. That's the sort of thing that I think the kids are missing out on nowadays. That sort of play element. Yeah. Unless it's got a screen, they're not really interested. And maybe it's just my age. Maybe I'm getting old and reminiscing. But I do think that there's not that play element with kids anymore. And everything's focused nowadays on toys, especially for the collector market.
Yeah.
So everything's a collection or a chase model or something like that. Nothing's like really driven for kids anymore. I don't know whether it's just their attention span doesn't master, but yeah.
I don't know, but and I know you go and do your collector's hunts, Kev, and stuff like that. But I think we were in Smith's Toys. When I went to get the Titanic. We were in Smith's Toys in Leeds, and I'm looking around thinking, there's more adults in here buying collector's items than there is actual.
Yeah, well,
buying
because I watch the toy things and I keep up to date with all the figures and all that sort of coming out. Actually, a lot of the companies have said 80. What was it? I think it's 75% of all toy purchases are people in their mid-30s and older. And that's why a lot of the companies now are pushing for the collector stuff. That's why you're getting lots of things like for Jaws and E.T. and all of that, because nowadays kids don't really know about that. That is focused at our age range. That is what they want us to collect.
Yeah.
So
I just think there's more adults here picking up collectibles, and there are actually kids wanting toys. What is going on?
I think I get more excited when I go out toy hunting than the kids do. Because I'm like, oh, look at that.
It's just the way the world is, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's just, yeah. I think we have that period, don't we, where you get into your teenagers and you don't care about it, and then you get into sort of our ages, and we've got a bit more disposable income, and we can sort of buy things again, and we're more nostalgia. I mean, our parents wouldn't understand it, but because they never had what we had in the 80s and 90s. They never had like Jurassic Park and Transformers, the comic. They never had any of that. So we're like the first generation where it's collecting is a thing, especially for action figures.
Like you say, you get rid of it all as a teenager. You move into your first home. You leave home. You move in there thinking, "Goodness me, this place is bare," because you hardly got any possessions.
Yeah.
And then I mean, obviously, I'm in my 40s now, and I'm looking. I've got no room for anything anymore. I've absolutely,
Yeah, between Transformers and Star Trek ships, I haven't got much room for much stuff. It's just all, it's all over. But I mean, the thing is as well, it's rubbed off onto my kids. Mm-hmm. So the girls, they like collecting the Funko Pops, and they like anime. So there's loads of pops and all that sort of stuff, and they collect something called Monster High, which is like a spin on monsters for girls. They love that. They collect them as well, and I think it's great that they place them on a shelf and they pose them and all of that, and then they just leave them. And I think that's rubbed off on the girls. My collecting anyway.
Yeah, I mean, some of the models I've been doing, Star Wars. Nobody else in my house will entertain it, which is why.
Yeah.
Well, there's certainly things like the Rossi, the Miura, the camper van. My youngest is really into vehicles, and he loves the posters because I've got no room for the posters in here. Yeah. So I give mainly all the posters to him, and then obviously we've got the poster with the Optimus Prime, and I gave that to my eldest because he's into Marvel and DC and everything. So it is amazing how much it does rub off on your kids, but. It's hopefully they won't get rid of everything when the time is up. Basically, it's what do you do with it? But I mean, as long as I'm enjoying it while I'm here, they can do whatever they want with it when I'm gone because it's not going to bother me.
I won't be around to find out. So but it's just amazing how it's all. I mean, even Kirsty didn't collect anything really. And I've come along and she's collecting DC character figures, and we're doing a Disney doll house and stuff like that. So everything's sort of rubbing off. So, yeah.
If you can't beat them, join them, as they say.
That's it, mate. That's it. Exactly it. Yeah.
Right. I'll just catch up with this chat. Steve131 says that D. Harris managed to get my Revell Routemaster bus epic model back of the net. Peter says, what scale is the kit, Steve? Lee says, hi, Mr. Fusion Designs. D says, at Steve131, excellent. You need to get on Facebook. Steve131 says, at 124, can't afford the Agora one. Oh, that's the Agora Routemaster.
Yeah, I was looking at maybe getting a Sunstar. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Yeah, no.
They're the big die-cast. They're the big die-cast model, and they do a Route Master, and they do. I think it's an MCW as well. And I've been looking at them, and I think they look quite good, but they're quite pricey as well. I think they're like £300 or £400, but they look really nice.
Oh, the best one about Busters and Sunstar is to ask DS Models and Vintage. Dave said.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Ask it. He's got. If you name it, he's got it.
Yeah, the Sunstar ones I was looking at because they came up, and I've been looking at them for years, but I've never really pulled the trigger on it. So
yeah, best is DS Models and Vintage. Yeah, speak to him because he'd know exactly where, and if you're getting a second-hand one and you say, right, it's this price, he'll tell you if it's a good price or not. Or
right, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. So John Bill Skilmore says Bismarck is back on the map, Mark. The build will only take a week to finish, but the rigging, hand-painted deck emblem and weathering will take a couple of months, mate. That's fine, John. Take as long as you need with it, honestly. It's, I know these things take time, but he did say to me thinking of doing a rigging video on YouTube because nobody has done one yet for the Bismarck, a rigging video. Nobody's done.
That's because it just takes too long. And filming it would be awkward. I think that's why I think a lot of people have gone, I'll do that off camera.
I think most people have gone, no chance of doing that on camera. It's too hard.
Yeah.
But if anybody can do it, John can get it done. Yeah. Peter says, you will still get the same enjoyment, Steve. Steve says, D. Harris, we not a Facebook family. Wife has too much trouble at school with it. Oh, dear. Peter says, going to look epic, John. Steve131 says, at Lord Peter Webster, certainly am. John Bill's come, kids don't play with toys, only big kids can collect them. Yeah. That's because we can. You're told by your parents, no, you're not having it. No, you're not having it. Get to an adult. Nobody says no.
Yeah, I'm having that. Yeah.
Nobody says no to you apart from the wife or your partner. So, and then you just got to convince them around it. So,
yeah.
Scott at Building with the Boys says, evening all. Evening, Scott.
Bye, Scott.
D. Harris says, at Steve131, privacy settings. Ian says, gulp, I've done it. Fanhome Optimus Prime. Wife will have to tighten her belt with the chocolate. He.
Yeah.
No, you'd be amazed. It is. I've got the head out.
Yeah, I've got the head. It's over there. Here you go, Mark. You get yours.
I'll get mine. Mine's just behind me. So, right. So that is issue 1. And it's quite simply done as well. And to simply turn the lights on, it's just a little switch there.
There is 3 switches on that, and there's still a wonder about what the middle one does.
Oh, I know. I was thinking that. But when I said about the eyes, they're very, very subtle. They're not really bright.
No.
And then I think if something underneath is taking also more power from them batteries, that might dull down a little bit more as well.
Yeah, I'm still on the impression that there is a micro speaker in that ball joint.
Yeah.
A sugar cube one.
But that's the ball joint that we were on about.
If you look in it carefully, there's a connector in it.
That looks like it can fit onto the end of a laptop.
Yeah.
To power a laptop. So there's something there. But
something gets powered into that. I've got a funny feeling it's a speaker, but I might be wrong. I don't know. We won't know until we get further down. Well, we probably won't know until the very end. No. Because that will probably be the last issue that we do connecting it on.
It's going to be interesting. Like I said, I've been waiting a while for this, and then me and Kev have been talking, and we're like, right, let's do a review of it when we get it.
Yeah.
Do the help with the Facebook group and everything. It's an amazing build. So I think, Ian, you'll enjoy it. You really will.
Yeah. You'll definitely enjoy it. Take your time.
You need to build it as it comes, though, not wait a year and then you've got to build it.
You will be left with bits all over the place, but you need to build it as you go in.
Yeah. Dave McBill says, evening, Scott. D. Harris says, evening, Scott. Peter Webster says, hi, Scott. Ian says, hi to Scott. Peter says hi to LOL. Ian. Steve131 says Ian Campbell, sleep with one eye open tonight. LOL. Building with the Boys says D. Peter Ian. Hello. Ian Campbell says, ha, Steve. I'm in the shed with the lawnmower. LOL. Oops. D. Harris says, them Star Wars pics I sent you, them figures have been hid. Right. Dave Max says, I've got no kids to leave my models to when I'm gone. LOL. Well, donate them. That's all I can say. Ian Campbell says, first thing my kids will do is sell my models. They are both money mad. LOL. Oh dear. Luckily, mine are not that bad, actually. Peter Wester says, mine are the same. Ian, LOL. Building with the Boy says, I'm not looking forward to the Titanic rigging. The Titanic rigging's not too bad. It's not as bad as the Bismarck. I've done the rigging before on a Titanic build. Ian Campbell says, LOL, Peter Webster. I'm getting there slowly. Lee says hi to Scott. Dave McBill says, Scott, the Titanic rigging is quite easy. I did it on the Trumpeter Titanic. Scott says, good to hear. And then it says, hey to Lee. And then Peter Webster says, I can't wait for Pack 11 Agora Ferrari. And then John says, stop showing the Fanhome Prime mark. I can't afford any more, mate. Oh dear. So you never know. Kev might put your name forward.
Yeah. He asked for names and I gave a massive list to them and they said they would go through them and then get in contact with those things because they're, like Sartre said, they're sort of changing up things at the moment at Fanhome. So
yeah,
I think they're trying to get a bit of fresh new blood. I think they're trying to get new blood pushed into the system. So
yeah,
I think a lot of their influence that they've used for a while, they've done for a couple of years now. So
yeah, all I'm going to say is, Ian, this build is missing a blueprint. I'm not saying any more on that.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
missing a blueprint. So yeah, I digress. Right, I'm coming up on the hour, so I'll wind things down. So I'll just catch up with this chat because I know you've got things to do, Kev, and
yep,
busy as always. So Anfield Road Lane Layout says here, but on a big workbench. Got A1 cutting mat off Peter. Vid out on the new workbench. Okay, Lee. And then D House says, looking at your background pic, Matt, the 6 blue lights under Optimus Prime chin might come of the ball joint. You mean there's no bulb that goes into them? You're on about the little headlights that are on the chest.
Oh, yeah. That'd be interesting. I don't know if that would be able to, if those 3 batteries would be able to power that as well.
I don't know. There's no hole for an LED to go in there, and I don't think it's big enough for an LED to go in there.
It'd be interesting. It's going to be very interesting on how it works because it just says it has light function. I've got a funny feeling it's going to be sound effects because they love pushing sound effects in these things, don't they? So
yeah, it'd just be nice if they put a decent speaker in these models as well.
Like I said, if it is a sugar cube speaker, they're pretty decent. They're the ones they use for Hornby and stuff. So
yeah. D Harris says, yep, but in the pic they are lit.
Yes.
Yeah, could be.
I reckon there's an extra switch on the back because that front chest section is pretty hollow, and obviously it's going to have a back piece as well. So definitely. I think the chest is going to be a little bit hollow, so they might put more lights in there, and stuff. So I don't know. We'll have to. It's all the fun of building it, and it's all the fun of finding out.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think we can always do another review in 6 months, see how far we get with it.
Yeah.
And, get together again, Kev, and see what we're thinking so far, because it's nice. It's nice when you get people together and they're building the same thing and they can kind of get there. And then, like we said, there is a Facebook group which I'll put in chat again, which in case anybody missed it. So that's in. I'll put that in chat again. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to it and seeing how far it goes. all I can say is I think the head is definitely going to be tiny compared to the body of the model. So I think it's going to be quite big.
Yeah. I think going by what I've seen with the next box that we get, which obviously constructs a little bit of the foot. The foot looks huge. I mean, if you got it, I mean, the poster that you get with it, that's in scale. That's exactly how big it will be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I can't wait. It looks so good.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so I'll just finish off this chat and then we'll close it up. So Peter says SMD LEDs are tiny; they will fit. Ian says, I have a feeling there may be lots of mods needed for the build.
Maybe.
I think it depends how far you want to go with it.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It's like you said, when when you're doing the mods, it's at your own risk.
Yeah.
So I say that if any mod I put in, if I make a cock up, it's my cock up, and I've got to pay to sort it out. So yeah, it's one of them things that they won't replace it if you made a mistake with it.
No, they're getting a bit tight now on how they do replacements and stuff.
So yeah, if I was to drill tiny holes into them top lights and stuff, that would be down on my head if I did.
Yeah, those lights do light up, but I believe they are lit up by. I think they're either it's going to be strip lighting or one LED that powers all three, just by the looks of it. Because just the size of everything that's on there. So that's what I think.
Okay. Next one is me. Obviously, I put the Facebook group in again. Anfield Lee says, good stream, big like to you all. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Lee.
D Harris says, nice stream both. Good night to you both and to all in chat.
Night, D.
Ian Campbell says, really enjoyed the stream, guys. Thank you, Ian.
Thank you, Ian.
Peter Ed says, night, D.
Night,
D
Pete.
says, night, Peter. Oh, I've had a super chat off John Mansell.
Oh, nice.
Enjoy your live streams, mate. Thank you, John. That's really nice of you. That's really, really kind. Thank you very much. I much appreciate that. Ian Campbell says, nice one, John. And then finally, we've got D. Harris says, nice, John. So, hang on. And then Peter Webster says, great chat, guys. Hang on, now they're all coming in. Lee says, night, D. And Scott says, good night, also. Thanks, Kev, for coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm going to download it and then send it to you. And then if you want to edit it and put it up on your channel, then you can do. And stuff like that. Please check out the Facebook group that we've got going for this one that Kev set up for it. Like I said, it's for both builds, so it's up to you which one you build, a Gotter or Fanhome, but we just gone for the Fanhome one.
Yep.
Because I just think there is a little bit more to it. So I'm going to say good night. Do you want to say your good nights first, Kev?
Yeah, thanks everyone for having a chat. Thank Mark for having me. It's been a pleasure. And good night, everyone.
So, yeah, good night from me as well. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I know I don't do enough lives on this channel because it does take a lot out. You're doing a live show and everything, but we wanted to do this. We've been talking about it for quite a bit of time, and I've really enjoyed the last hour or so talking about this model because it's going to be superb. So it's good night for me, everybody. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.